Hey, can you all welcome with me, welcome back. You know our great videographer, Gary McClure. He had a kidney transplant in November, and he is back with us tonight, so we are thrilled. Thank you, Gary. About a week and a half ago, he's like, I think I can come if I can wear a mask. I said, I'll wear a mask if you come. So, oh, we are so happy. So I am thrilled that so many of you stayed. You are going to be blessed by hearing this tonight. And do you know, Lori flew in from Alabama just for you guys tonight. So we are thrilled to have her. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
And let's get this party started.
Okay. So let me ask a question. Who in the room is trying to actively do the Young Living business? Show of hands. Okay, that's most of you, I think. And how many of you have recently started? So within the past year. That's awesome. Okay. So I want to talk to you about some things that I've learned recently. And I've been doing the business since, I bought my kit in 2013 and swore I would never do the business. Here I am, almost 4 years later. But one thing that I have been charged with in the past 2 months is really evaluating how I'm spending my time. So tonight I want to give you a few tips on better ways to channel your energy and your focus to utilize the time that you do have better. So let me show you real quick. Oh, wrong way. A couple of things we're going to talk about real briefly. I didn't get a chance to go to the restroom during this, and then I was already hooked up to this, so I didn't want one of those CNN open mic episodes happening, so I'm going to try to wrap this up by 9 o'clock. But we're going to briefly talk about some goals and obstacles. I hear obstacles a lot from my downline and some crossline friends, and I frankly have used a lot of those excuses myself in the past year just about being so busy. So I want to tell you about something that I've heard now 3 times, and I feel like God was trying to hit me over the head with it, so he gave it to me in 3 different messages, and it's really called the cumulative effect, and it was such a light bulb moment for you. I hope that you guys have the same kind of realization when I talk through it. And then just a few tips about time blocking, prioritizing and executing, and then identifying your strengths, because some of us will spend a lot of time doing things that we're not good at. We need to let other people do those things that we're not good at, and then share the skills that we are given for our talents and purposes. And then I'm going to talk about utilizing some resources and real briefly show you a little bit about Old Revolution Designs. At the end, I want to tell you what we've got coming up, and then I've got, for everybody that sticks around towards the end, a stack of our income opportunity brochures for you to take home with you for free. But yeah. So let's talk real quick about goals. Everybody knows what goals are, right? I mean, we all have goals. We all want to get to the next step or the next rank, or maybe it's not even about work. Maybe it's about something personal in your life. But unless you're really motivated, you're not going to want to do it, right? So I think there are 3 things when you talk about goals that can happen. The first thing is you could give up and you'll never reach your goal. And I will be honest, like half of the people in this room will probably give up in the next year unless you really channel what your purpose is and what your why is. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but there's a lot of talks about finding your why, and I'm sure they could give it better than me, so we're not going to get into that tonight, but it's very important to know that. The second is you're going to persevere. And if you persevere, you're going to reap the rewards. Now, look at Danette. Danette, how long have you been doing the Young Living business? Like, just 14 years. So that's a long time, right? That's a lot of your life now that you have devoted to this. But she's persevering, and she's reaping the rewards, right? All of you guys showed up tonight to hear her and hear the resources that she brings too. So that's one thing that you want to keep in mind. You'll never reach your goal if you quit. Just continue to persevere. And then the last thing that's going to happen is that you die trying. But at least everybody knows that you gave it your all, right? Part of the messages that have been hitting me over the head is one from John Maxwell, Dr. John Maxwell. He speaks a lot at our church. I've heard him at convention a few years ago. I've heard him at several of his leadership events that he does independently of the churches as well. And one thing that I really, resonate with is that anything worthwhile in life is uphill. So you don't just wake up one morning and everything's perfect and great and you didn't work hard for it. It just doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Unless you maybe win the lottery, but I don't know how that works either. But the one thing that you'll see with people who are ready to give up is that they talk about their obstacles rather than their opportunities. And so one thing I hear a lot of is, I don't have enough time for this. And I'll be honest, this has been my excuse. This has been the reason that my business has not progressed as much as it should have, or as much as it did in the beginning. Because I have not been putting the time into it, because I've been using time as my excuse to not do it. You'll hear, this is a fill in the blank, right? I don't have enough time to do the business because of my job, my family, my schedule, my life. Life gets in the way, right? And then also your drive sometimes. I'm just not motivated, That's an easy one to fall back on sometimes too. And then other people. I can't do this because my upline is not supporting me. My downline is not doing their job. Or maybe it's even your crossline friends that, you see what they're doing and you feel like you can't compete with that. So you just decide, I won't even try. Or it's your husband or your mother or your brother. There's a million people you can put in the others category too. And you really don't want to use that, because what these three things on the left have in common is that they're really all excuses. And they're excuses because if it's important to you, you're going to find a way to do it. So the second message that I was hit over the head with, besides hearing John Maxwell talk about his 5 rules, I'm not even saying that right. Rule of 5. Yeah, I'm saying it backwards. Was the cumulative effect. And I actually heard Andy Stanley, who preaches at North Point Church in Atlanta. And you can find his messages online. And the one I liked was in the You Asked For It series. That's what it was. And he talked about the cumulative effect. And what I loved how he said about this was, if you do little things over time consistently, they add up for big impact. Now, let me tell you, I've had some experience about dieting in my life. I know you're all shocked to hear this. And I had planned to lose 10 pounds by the time I got here today. And I was going to start in January. But instead I started yesterday. So unfortunately, it's going really great. But I didn't quite reach my goal. And some of you may find that funny, and I find it funny too, because this has been the story of my life, right? To do things well and actually get results, you've got to have consistent, focused effort over a consistent amount of time, too. What happens if, let's say February is a short month, right? And you haven't exactly done all your care calls, and you haven't exactly followed up with all your ER people who are having issues, and you haven't really talked to the people who are about to fall off of, active, of the inactive report or whatever. And it's February 27th. Oh, and it's a short month. So it's the same as if you wait until the end to start dieting. It's not going to happen. But if you've done the tasks that Young Living leaders need to do every day, and you do them consistently throughout the month, you don't get to that last day of the month and say, oh my gosh, I'm not going to make rank this month. Or, oh my goodness, I got to call these 5 people who, by the way, are going to know that you're calling them on the last day of the month for a specific reason. So I would not advise that. So again, consistency is key. And John Maxwell tells it like, if you go outside in the morning with an axe and there's a tree, and every day you hit the tree 5 times with the axe in the same spot, and then the next morning you get up and you do it again, and the next morning after that you do it again, at some point that tree's going to fall over, right? Depending on how big your tree is. So ask yourself about your goals. How big's your tree, and how consistent are you going to be every morning to get up and swing that axe? So I have a few tips, and I got to tell you a story real quick. What happened to me in December? For Christmas, we realized over the break how much time our children were spending on their devices. Does anybody have any kids that might, yeah? That's the great thing about dogs. They don't spend any time on devices. But we realized we really needed to start monitoring, number one, what they're looking at, and number two, how much time they're spending on there. So my husband got this, and he hooked it all up, and I didn't need to know about all those details. But after a couple of days, he was like, oh, you need to see the report. I was like, what? What are they doing? They're like, it's not them, it's you. And I was like, what? So he's like, do you know? He didn't do that. If you've met my husband, he's not like this. But he's like, do you know that you spend 7 to 8 hours a day on Facebook? I was like, no, I do not. And I said, that must have been a special day. Something must have been going on. I was looking at kids' pictures or something. So after about a week, he's like, I just want to show you the rest of the week. And he showed me the report, and it was shocking. So I had to reevaluate my life at that point for a lot of reasons. And one is that I was spending all this time on Facebook, but I wasn't really getting anything done. Was I really impacting everybody's life by liking a million pictures and by checking all of my groups? Not terribly. Sorry. I know y'all have really great groups, and I love to read them. But now I pick a certain time of the day. I take 1 hour, and I go check all my top groups. And then also, Facebook has this little thing on the side, if you're using a mobile app, that says your most suggested groups, and it says recent activities. So you could just click on it real quick, read the recent activity, and move on. I'm giving myself an hour a day to do that. So I've just gained 7 hours a day, y'all. It's fabulous. So I've been so busy since January 8th when I started this. It was part of the 21 days of prayer and fasting with my church. And my pastor really charged us to look at your soul, look at because where you spend your time, that's where your mind is, right? And so I thought I'll give myself back this time so I can give it to the Lord and really read and, study. So I did some of that, and then I cleaned out my basement and I remodeled a bathroom. So yay me. But I also was able to take the time to come here for this event, which if you had talked to me in December, I'm too busy for everything. I'm too busy to even call you on the phone. I'm too busy to check with my downline to find out what's going on in their lives and what I can do to help and support my team. So that's changing, folks. So the other thing that I've had time to do is I've had time to read a book, and you're going to laugh at this because my husband thought that I needed to read this book called Extreme Ownership: How U.S. Navy SEALs Lead and Win. I was like, do you even know me? I mean, we've been married for 12 years. Do you know who I am? Anyway, I started reading the book, and I was immediately captivated, but I loved some of the thoughts that were in here. And I'll talk to you a little bit about prioritizing and executing, which is the whole chapter in this book, which I can summarize in about two paragraphs, which is awesome. And then we're going to talk about capitalizing on your strengths. Like I said, you don't need to solve every problem. You just need to solve the ones that you're good at, and then outsource the rest to your friends and downline and friends. I mean, right? Like Nalia gave me all that amazing content, and I helped her bring it to life in graphics. I don't know anything about dogs. I mean, I have a dog, but I don't know anything about oiling in dogs. Now I do. I'm going to go home and put oils on everybody. And then we're going to talk about utilizing resources. We have some amazing resources in Young Living that we didn't have 3 years ago. So this is really a great time to jump in and go all in with the business. You cannot read that. Sorry, that's a bad choice of slides. But really what it says is what happens when you really look at how you spend your time. And I think I've already covered that. So we're going to talk about 5 tips for time blocking. And I'll send these to Danette if y'all can't read them, and she can. Oh, good. They'll be on the video too. We want to determine which tasks need the most attention, right? And which ones need to be completed first. And you want to put them in order of priority, okay? I'll be honest with you, Facebook was at the bottom for me, but I had to condense the time and I had to move it down because it's really not as important as me calling folks who have issues or folks who in my downline that need my help and my time. We want to block time out for specific tasks, and I want you to do it in a visual manner. So if you use your phone, if you use a calendar, actually block that time off. Make sure that you know what you're spending, have a specific start and end time. You're going to see your productivity just really jump. And then schedule breaks and reward yourself. Especially reward yourself for the tasks that you hate doing the most. I'm a big believer in that. And then lastly, limit activities that interfere with your time blocking goals. Now, Facebook may not be what your time blocking issue is. It could be online shopping, or it could be long lunches, or you could have a hobby that's preventing you from doing other things like going to the gym or your emotional health. So just find out what it is that's keeping you from getting to that time blocking that you can really maximize your efforts. So I don't have to tell all you guys, since most of you have been doing the business, but these are just some of the tasks that I can think of off the top of my head that Young Living leaders do on a daily basis, right? We give downline support, we teach classes, we do events, we meet people. That's prospecting, right? We follow up and we give new member education. We do care calls. I don't have to read all this list because you guys are already doing this. The key part here is that 80% of that list we can outsource mostly. Besides the actual physical support that you should be giving your team, a lot of this can be done, or at least parts of it be done, with other tools and resources. So to get back to this book, here's what I loved about this book. When I was reading the Prioritize and Execute portion, and I'm sorry if I'm talking really fast, I want to make sure I honor y'all's time and get you out of here by the time you need to leave. But what I really loved about this book was that when you think about fire drills, right? So things happen in business. I don't know if y'all have noticed that or seen that around here. If not, just wait, you hadn't been around long enough. But I like to think of certain times like recent events, the 12 days of Christmas and the hourly stuff. We didn't have a ton of lead time on that, which I understand why Young Living does that, because, if we all knew about it, then there wouldn't be a whole lot of rah-rah around it. But what I loved about how our upline and our crossline friends handled that was that they all jumped in together. It wasn't like we were all out on our own trying to figure it out and trying to everybody promote it the same way. I mean, you guys created this awesome group, gave tons of education so that the folks that needed that was out there. And that's what this book is all about. You rely on your team. It's not all up to you to solve every single issue and plug every single hole in the boat. You have got an amazing amount of resources, and I can tell you know that because you're here in this room tonight. So absolutely prioritize and execute, and then lean on the people that are there to support you, because if you are trying to figure it out yourself, you're going to have a much harder time than if you focus all the effort around, let the leaders focus their effort around, and you support them where you can. Or if you're a leader, you rally that cross-line support or those downline and upline resources. I hope that makes sense. I'm not sure if I explained that as well as it sounded in my head when I thought about it. But okay, so now we're going to talk about utilizing the right tools and resources. Okay, there's a lot of tools and resources that are coming out every day. But just like you want to pick the right tool, so what are your strengths, right? So obviously, I like to do graphic design. I like to do graphic design a lot more than I like to public speak. So you can probably see the red splotches all up my neck. But we all have strengths, and we all have something to offer and bring to the table. So here's some questions. If you don't know what those are, I bet you, after you read this list or answer these questions, you might have a better hint. And if you're not even sure, then ask your mother. She always knows what your strengths are. Okay. Okay. Do you have organizational skills? Are you great at public speaking? Are you good at educating others? Technology, like where's Christy Dempsey, her husband? I mean, if you're good at making websites, I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can leverage. Are you good at making friends? I'm telling you, these are all skills that are really important in a network marketing business, and especially with Young Living, because we're all so close and family-like now. Are you good at cooking or crafting or entertainment? These are all areas of expertise that you can leverage for your business. So don't ever think that you don't have something to bring to the table, because I know you do. And then what kind of professional background did you have before you started your business? A lot of times that's the easiest place to leverage what you're doing, right, Jim Bob? I mean, come on, chiropractor, veterinarian. I mean, we all can't be like, have a DR in front of our name or anything, but, okay. Okay, now I'm trying to speed through, and I probably shouldn't. So you're not going to try to chop down that tree every morning with a garden hose, okay? We're going to use the right tools. We're going to try to make it easier. You're going to ask your friends what they're bringing to the table. We're all just going to work super efficiently and be Royal Crown Diamonds by, we'll give ourselves to March, okay? So what Oil Revolution Designs, we started this in 2014 because at the time, I love Young Living, but their marketing department at the time, we had those old ugly labels and old ugly pictures. And so my strengths were in photography and graphic design. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just make my own stuff. And then Young Living was like, oh, no, you don't. You have to come talk to us about a trademark agreement, to which I did. I followed all the guidelines with the support of these lovely Crown Diamond, Royal Crown Diamond friends up here. And they were like, yes, we need this kind of material because these are what are helping our team grow. We started out with a little booklet. We have a smaller size and this size. And we have lots of people who have grown their business just from teaching classes from this book. It's basically a 101 in a book. You just have to read it. And that's it. So that's kind of where we started. And then we created a subscription service where each month we're offering graphic series on different things. And a lot of people use those and plan classes around them. Some people do them in person. Some people do them online. Some people send them as email or drip campaigns. There's a lot. They just post a graphic on Facebook if somebody asks about dogs or whatever. So there's all kinds of ways to do it. And what I love is that I think we have a tool now to cover almost all of these bullet points, which is a few from that slide earlier. And there's no reason that you have to do it over again or yourself. Okay? So we want to take stuff off your to-do list. One thing that's really important is that compliance is extremely important to us. I mean, we know if we are not compliant, then Young Living is not going to be around for us if we continue to share uncompliantly. So we make sure Young Living actually, because of our trademark agreement, reviews these booklets for us and provides feedback. So when you can feel confident using this and reading from it, and I think that's really important. We have a monthly subscription service as well as an annual subscription service. By far, the best deal is the annual, and it's a one-time $55 a month, and you get everything, including... Oh, yeah. Did I say a month? Sorry. It's getting late. No. Okay, so $55 a year. And you get the vault included, which has all of our old graphics and everything from the beginning of time that's still compliant and relevant is out there. So when you go to our website, you can just, you can see under the subscribers tab, there's different categories. There's the monthly graphics, and that's all the new stuff. So when you go out, you look for the new stuff. It stays out there about 6 weeks. Then we retire it to the vault, and we add new stuff. So there's always a constant amount of new information out there. What? Oh, yes, she's right. So the vault has all the old stuff, and the vault has, I mean, this is just a small sampling of what we've done just in the past year. There's just a lot of stuff out there. And we have these new income opportunity brochures, which are just basically like a member up through executive, explaining really simply the income opportunity. And we have slides that match this. So if you wanted to teach a class, real basically on the income opportunity, we have everything you need to do it. You don't even have to know the material. You just have to read it. And then we have some stock photos. If one of your strengths is graphic design, or you want to take a picture and make your own slide, you can go and grab some of the stock photos. Now, we don't have every product Young Living has out there, but we do have a good selection of them. So you can make your own, like throw it into WordSwag if that's your thing, right? April. And then one of the best things about the annual subscription, if you do have that, is that there's a presentation that matches this booklet completely. So you could teach a class, hand out books, or give books as a going away prize if they sign up or whatever, and then flip through each one of these slides. One slide is the same as what's in here, same stuff. And then if you, let's say you bought these booklets, and 3 months later, Young Living changes what diffuser comes in the kit or something, we update the slides real time. So you can say, well, on page 18, that diffuser on your book says dewdrop, but up here, make sure you mark it as whatever. Does that make sense? And then the really cool part is that each graphic that you get has your information already on here. Now, that's important because if you go on social media and pin something that's got your name on it, and it gets repinned or retweeted or reshared 100 times, and you're coming across people who don't know anything and they just go to the youngliving.com, you really want them to put in your member number, right? Yeah, everybody say yes. Okay. Okay, so we also have tons of printed resources. I'm not going to get too far into that, but I do have a launch kit, which is probably our most popular product for new members. We don't have these in stock very often. We don't even have any right now, but I have one here tonight that's going to go home with the person who is newest to Young Living. So 2 days. All right, you're a winner. Can anybody beat 2 days? Unless somebody's signing up tonight. Oh wait, they're signing up tonight. Okay, come see me. I'll send you one when they get back in stock. Oh, 3. Okay, all right. You 3. I got to cut it off then because I don't have too many of these to go around. Trust me, these are a hot commodity. But the cool thing about the launch kit is that it's kind of got a sampling of some of our best products for new members, especially new business builders. And it comes with a 1-month free subscription. And then, can I open yours? It looks like this when you get it out. And then it has it has the income brochures, the starter kit, the different starter kit brochure. It has the lid labels. And these are fun because you can cut these, and this is all the oils that come in the kit, the current kit. And so this is 5. So I love to send a welcome little package, a little note to my new enrollees with a welcome postcard that's already in there, 1 strip of these, and a small starter guide. And right on the back, and like, I'm here to help you. I'm here to serve you. Let me know what to do, to reach you. All right. So that about wraps it up. I'm doing almost good. So I'm going to tell you what's coming soon. I'm excited that tonight at midnight, I saw you all taking pictures of the slides, and I think that was so cool. But you can go get your own tonight. And if you don't want to sign up for the annual subscription, it's just $5 to download them for tonight. And then next month, we're having a whole mom and baby class. Isn't that going to be fun? And then following that, Nalia and others I've heard are going to give me some content for emotional oils, a really great class. Isn't that going to be neat too? Okay, and then printed resources. We have just recently received from Young Living the opportunity to do a Canadian version of the starter guide. So after we jump through all the fun hoops with that, we're going to have that available and shipped directly to the Canadian members from Canada using the Canada Post. So it's not going to be $40 to ship a set of starter. It'll be like $8 or $9. And then we're going to have a dogs and oils printed resource that matches this class. Yay! Okay, my last thing that I want. So here's the beauty of this. Like, my strength, graphics, not necessarily content. Like, I'm contented out after the 101 class. Like, that's about all I got to offer. So if you have subject matter expertise in any area that you think would be valuable across Young Living, I would love to help you bring that to life. So we have to do it compliantly, though. So please don't send me about how you cured somebody's whatever, because I'm not going to be able to do anything with that. So please just email us at help@oilrevolutiondesigns if you have idea for content. Nalia's dog content ended up being about 32 slides, so that's a lot of content. It took her about an hour to go through it. We would love about that much if you have it. So yeah, that's about it. And I would love to take some questions if we have time or if you want to stick around. But before you all leave, I've got 2 big boxes of these, and I want you to come grab some. So, 5 questions? Okay, we have time for 5 questions. Do we need a microphone? Yes. Yes, you absolutely. Yes. Yes. She said she signed up last month and she had a hard time. She couldn't shop, and it was like a technical difficulty, it sounded like. And the best way to reach us anytime there's any technical difficulty is help@oilrevolutiondesigns.com. And if you've sent me a Facebook message, guess what? I didn't read it. I'm not going to read it. Sorry. And I say that with love, but that's me buying my time back, right? Yes, ma'am.
The slides that go with
the booklet.
Where are they?
They are under the subscribers section. If you're an annual subscriber, you will see the link under subscribers. If you're not an annual, you won't see it. You won't see the link, and you have to be logged in to see that link.
Okay, what does it say?
It says starter guide presentation. Yes, yes ma'am.
I have just the monthly subscription, but I want to update to the annual one. Will it automatically cancel?
It won't. We're working on that. Okay, so she has a monthly subscription and she wants to update to the annual subscription. She wanted to know if it would automatically cancel. It will not. You can go in on the My Account page and cancel it and then subscribe to the annual on the shop page. If your monthly just renewed within the past week or so, just send us an email and we'll refund that for you too, okay? Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, no questions from up here. We're done. Sorry.
Since you've been doing graphics and products and stuff for as long as you have, what's the feedback on your number one product that people like the best on reaching new members?
It's got to be the starter guide because, he said of all, in my personal experience and from what we've seen from the feedback from other people, what has been the number one product for reaching new people, and it's got to be this. I actually keep the small one, which is half of this size and turned this way. It's in your kit. Let me grab it. I keep these in my purse, and I put them everywhere. And if I have to give one, I mean, they're $20 for 25 of them. You can't print a one-sided, double-sided paper for that these days. So these are what I give, and these are what, like a gift. You know what I mean? So give and, well, that's the same. That's kind of dumb. I shouldn't have said that. But you know what I mean. Do you know? Yeah. Yeah, I really like these people. Like, I put a bow on this one, and I make it rain with these. Oh, please cut that out too. Uh-oh. Okay, I think I'm back. Thank you. One more question? Oh, that's a great question. I've already had that one. So we did a Spanish book about a year and a half ago, and there are
A lot of dialects, and we had a lot of complaints. So I'll do another book.
Hello. Okay. I'll do another Spanish version of a booklet if I can hire about 3 people for customer service. Because that's about how. Oh, you do? Okay. Because I had it translated by 3 different people, 3 different ways, and nobody was happy. So it was sad. It was very sad. That's when I almost quit. Yeah. If you want to know the truth. So, okay, I think that's all I have, and I would love to meet any of you for a few minutes and hand out some of these brochures. And thank you for coming.